Dear one, my old heart still aches when I recall that summer, the one where friendship turned to ashes in my grasp.
I'm Mabel, rocking here in my chair by the window, the faded quilt my mama stitched warming my lap, and I've got a tale to share, one about the woman I loved like blood, the lies that shattered me, and the unexpected grace that pieced me back together. We met as little girls in that sleepy Mississippi town where the magnolias bloomed so white they looked like clouds fallen to earth, and the humid air buzzed with cicadas singing their evening songs. Louise and we were inseparable from the start, two wild spirits chasing fireflies by the creek, our bare feet muddy, our laughter echoing through the pines. "You're my sister in everything but blood," she'd say, linking her pinky with mine, and I'd swear the same, my young heart wide open, trusting like the dawn trusts the sun to rise. Those early days were simple joys, picking blackberries in the thickets, thorns scratching our arms, juice staining our dresses purple. We'd sit on the bank, feet dangling in the cool water, sharing dreams bigger than our small world. Louise wanted to see the ocean, feel the salt on her skin, while I dreamed of a quiet home filled with babies and baking bread. "We'll go together," she'd promise, her eyes sparkling, and I believed her. Oh, how I believed. Our families were close, her mama and mine swapping recipes over fence lines, their voices low with town gossip. Louise's house was louder than mine, her daddy's temper quick as a summer storm, but she'd sneak over to my porch when it got bad, curling up with me under the stars. "You're my safe place, Mabel," she'd whisper, her head on my shoulder, and I'd hold her tight, the night wrapping us like a blanket. School came, our desks side by side, passing notes when the teacher turned her back. Louise was the bold one, her hand shooting up with answers, her grin winning over everyone. I was quieter, but she pulled me into her light, defending me from bullies, sharing her lunch when mine was thin. "We're a team," she'd say. And the world felt right, our bond unbreakable as the old oak in the square. Time flowed on. I grew into a young woman, my curves softening, my hair pinned up. Louise bloomed too, her beauty turning heads, her laugh drawing boys like moths to flame. But we stayed close, whispering about crushes in the church pews, giggling over stolen kisses behind the barn. I met Henry at a barn dance, the fiddles playing fast, the air thick with sweat and hay. He was tall, his hands calloused from plowing fields, his smile shy but warm as fresh milk. "Dance with me, Mabel?" he asked, his voice low, and my heart skipped. Louise watched from the side, her eyes narrowing just a bit, but she clapped when he twirled me, calling, "You two look perfect." Henry courted me proper, walks by the creek, wildflowers picked from the roadside, his promises steady as the seasons. "I'll build us a life," he'd say. And I fell deep, my dreams shifting to include him. Louise listened to my gushing, her nod quick, but her questions sharp. "Does he make you happy, Mabel? Truly?" I'd assure her yes, hugging her tight, not seeing the envy brewing like storm clouds. We married under that big oak. The town gathered, magnolia petals scattered like blessings. Louise stood by me, her dress blue as the sky, her hug fierce. "I'm so glad for you," she whispered, but her voice caught a tear in her eye. I thought it joy, not the first crack in our bond. Henry and I settled in a little farmhouse, the fields stretching gold in the sun, the porch perfect for rocking. Babies came quick. First little Anna, her cry strong, then Billy with his father's eyes, and Sarah, tiny and sweet. Life was full, messy with diapers and laughter, Henry's arms around me at night. Louise visited often, her arms full of gifts, a rattle for the baby, jam from her mama's kitchen. She'd rock the little ones, her voice soft with lullabies, her eyes soft on them. "You're lucky, Mabel," she'd say, and I'd nod, not hearing the longing underneath. Henry worked the land hard, his back bent under the sun, but his love steady. Louise stayed single, her suitors many, but none sticking. "I'm waiting for the right one," she'd say, but her eyes wandered to Henry sometimes, her laugh a bit too loud when he joked. Then the fever came, sweeping the town like a thief in the night, taking the old and young alike. Henry fell ill, his skin hot, his breath ragged. I nursed him day and night, my hands wringing claws, my prayers constant. Louise was there, bringing broth, sitting by his bed. "He'll pull through," she'd whisper, but her eyes held fear. He didn't. Slipped away in the dawn, his hand cold in mine. The world blurred, my sobs endless, the children clinging to my skirts. Louise held me at the funeral, her arms strong, her voice steady. "I'm here, Mabel. I'll never leave you alone." I leaned on her grateful, my grief a vast ocean. The days after were gray, the farm silent without Henry's whistle, the beds empty. The children asked for him, their eyes wide, and I'd hold them, whispering, "Daddy's with the angels." Louise came daily, helping with chores, cooking meals, her presence a lifeline. "We'll get through this," she'd say, her hands busy with dough or laundry. I nodded, too numb to argue, my trust in her absolute. The town helped, too, bringing food, but it was Louise who stayed late, listening to my tears, her shoulder wet from my sorrow. As months passed, the grief softened, like edges worn by time. The children grew, their laughter returning slow. Louise and I talked to the future. "We can't let life stop," she said, her eyes bright. "Let's start something, Mabel, a sewing business like we dreamed as girls." I hesitated, my savings thin, the farm barely holding. But she persuaded, her voice excited. "Our needles are magic. We'll make dresses for the ladies, build something together." Her enthusiasm caught me, a spark in the dark. "All right," I said, smiling for the first time in months. We started small, in my parlor, fabric spread on the table, patterns pinned. Louise handled the customers, her charm drawing them in, while I stitched late into the night, the machines hum a companion. Money came slow but steady, enough to feed the children, mend the roof. Louise dreamed bigger. "A shop downtown," she said, her eyes gleaming over tea, the steam rising like hopes. "We need a loan, Mabel, from the bank to buy that old place on Main." I worried. My savings, all I had for the kids' future, the farm's mortgage hanging heavy. But she begged, her hand on mine. "Trust me, Mabel. We're in this together, like always. It'll be our legacy." Her words echoed our childhood promises, and I softened, signing the papers, my hand shaking on the line. The bankman nodded, the money handed over, Louise's smile wide as the Mississippi. The shop opened with fanfare, ribbons cut, dresses hanging pretty in the window, the bell tinkling with customers. We worked side by side, her at the counter, me in the back, the air filled with the scent of new fabric and possibility. "See," she'd say, hugging me, "we did it." But shadows creep in quiet, don't they? At first it was small things, a dress sold, money short in the till. "Must be a mistake," Louise said, her eyes wide. I believed her, my trust deep as roots. Then bills piled, letters from the bank about missed payments, Redding Stark. What's happening? I asked, my voice trembling in the empty shop. It's fine, she assured, her hand on my arm. Just a slow month. But her eyes avoided mine, her laugh forced. I started checking the books, her handwriting neat, but numbers not adding up. Louise, I said, my heart pounding, explain this. She brushed it off. You worry too much, Mabel. Let me handle it. One rainy afternoon, the sky gray as my mood. I searched her drawer for receipts, my hands shaking. There it was, the ledger hidden under patterns, numbers crossed out, sums diverted, money gone to places unknown. A ticket to New Orleans, fancy hats from catalogs, checks to a man named Robert, his name unfamiliar. My heart dropped, cold as the rain pattering on the roof. She'd borrowed more in our names, spent it on her own whims. Trips, clothes, perhaps that man, while the shop sank. I waited for her, the ledger open, thunder rumbling far off like my anger. When she came in, shaking her umbrella, her smile faded at my face. How could you? I whispered, my voice breaking, tears hot on my cheeks. She stood tall, her chin high, rain dripping from her coat. You had everything, Henry, the kids, the perfect life. I deserved something too, Mabel, a bit of joy for myself. Her words cut deep, jealousy spilling out like poison from a cracked jar, her eyes hard. But we were friends, sisters, I sobbed, the room spinning. She shrugged, her voice cold. Life isn't fair. I took what I needed. She left then, the door slamming, the bells tinkle mocking. The bank came calling soon after. The shop closed, locks changed, my savings gone, the house nearly lost to auction. I scraped by, sewing alone at night by lamplight, my fingers pricked bloody, tears falling on the fabric. The children helped, Anna washing, Billy chopping wood, their small faces worried. It'll be okay, Mama, they'd say, but the ache, oh, it lingered, heavy as lead in my chest. The town whispered their pity, a sting. Poor Mabel, betrayed by her own friend. I held my head high, but inside bitterness grew, roots deep. Louise vanished, rumors of her in the city with that Robert living high on what she stole. Years turned slow. The children grew tall and strong, their hugs my anchor. Anna married a farmer. Billy took to the mill. Sarah stayed close, her kindness a mirror of mine. I mended dresses for pennies, the house quiet, the creeks babble my companion. The betrayal scarred me, trust a fragile thing. I kept to myself, the porch my world, the quilt my comfort. Never again, I'd whispered to the stars, Henry's memory a ghost. But one spring, the air soft with bloom, a knock came at the door, timid as a mouse. A young girl stood there, 14 or so, her dress torn, her eyes like Louise's, wide and green. Are you Mabel? She asked, voice trembling, a bundle in her arms. I nodded, my heart skipping. Mama's gone. Louise, she said, find you if I needed help. Tears fell then, her story spilling. Louise dead from illness, alone in the city, Robert long gone, leaving this child, her daughter, with nothing but my name. My breath caught, the past rushing back like the creek in flood. Come in, I said, soft, leading her to the kitchen, the stove warm. She ate soup hungrily, her story unfolding. Louise's regrets whispered on her deathbed. Tell Mabel I'm sorry. She was my true friend. I took her in that night, her head on the pillow where Louise once slept. Day by day she stayed, helping with chores, her smile blooming slow. We sewed together, her stitches clumsy at first, her laughter filling the emptiness, caring for her. Oh, it mended me stitch by stitch, her trust a balm on old wounds. She became family, her hugs healing, her eyes holding no blame. "You're like a grandma," she'd say, and my heart softened, the bitterness melting like snow in sun. In that girl, I found peace I never sought, not in revenge or forgetting, but in giving what was taken from me: kindness, home, love. She flourished, married, kind, her children calling me Gran. Life's a winding road, dear one. Betrayal may steal your trust, leaving you hollow and wary, but kindness to the broken, especially those tied to your pain, can return it tenfold. Cherish the lost ones who find you at your door. They're the true mending of the heart, quiet and profound. Oh, but let me linger a while longer, dear, for this tale has more layers, like the quilts I stitched over the years, each square a memory, each thread a lesson. After that girl, Ellie, her name, came into my life, the days took on a new rhythm, softer, fuller. She was skittish at first, jumping at loud noises, her eyes darting like a deer in the woods. "Mama wasn't always kind," she'd confess over tea, her hands wrapped around the cup. I'd nod, not pressing, letting her words come slow as molasses. Louise's life in the city, glamour at first, then hardship, Robert's leaving, breaking her. I showed her the creek, our feet in the water, magnolias overhead. "Your mama and I played here," I'd say, and she'd listen, her face lighting with wonder. "She loved you," Ellie whispered once, and I wept, the past softening. We worked the garden together, planting seeds in rich soil, her hands learning the earth. "Watch them grow," I'd say, and she'd smile, her trust budding like the green shoots. The children visited, Anna's brood playing with her, accepting her as kin. Billy taught her to fish, his patience endless, her giggles ringing. Sarah sewed with us, 3 generations at the table, needles flashing. "Family ain't just blood," I'd tell them, my voice steady. Ellie's first love came, a boy from town, shy as Henry was. I watched them on the porch, remembering, my heart aching sweet. "Be true," I advised her, and she nodded, her eyes wise beyond years. Her wedding was small, the church scented with flowers from our garden, her dress stitched by my hands. As she vowed, tears fell. For Louise, for the mending. "Thank you, Mabel," she whispered, her hug tight. Her children came, chubby and loud, climbing my lap. "Gran Mabel," they'd call, and my heart overflowed, the betrayal a faint echo. Years blurred, my hair silver, my steps slow. Ellie cared for me, her hands gentle, her love repaying what was stolen. "You saved me," she'd say. I'd shake my head. "No, dear, you saved me." The porch became my world, the quilt my companion, memories visiting like old friends. Louise's face in dreams, her smile young. "Forgive me," she'd plead. "I have," I'd answer. "Peace complete." Life's twists taught me. Hold the unexpected gifts, the ones born from pain. They bloom brightest. Oh, child, let me recall the details, the small moments that made the mending real. Ellie's first night, her sobs in the dark, my arms around her like I held my own. "You're safe," I whispered, the moon watching. Mornings with coffee, her questions about Louise. She was fun, I'd say, sharing light stories, skipping the dark. Her eyes hungry for her mother. The business revived, small, just us, dresses for locals. "We're partners," she'd say, her pride shining, her pregnancy my worry, her joy, the birth, her cry, the baby in my arms. Louise, she named her, honoring healing, grandkids' antics, chasing chickens, their laughter pure, holidays, the table full, Grace said with thanks, my illness brief, her vigil by my bed. "Don't leave," she begged. "Not yet," I promised, strength from her love. The end, peaceful, surrounded, my last breath, their hands in mine, the creek singing outside. But legacies linger. Ellie telling my story to her children. Gran Mabel taught love mends. Her daughter, young Louise, sewing with care. Like you, she'd say. The garden thriving, birds nesting, life cycling. Dear one, that's the depth. Betrayal's sting, kindness's salve. Love the broken. It returns manifold. Let me deepen further. The emotions raw. The day I learned of Louise's death, Ellie's letter trembling in my hand. She spoke of you always, it read, and I wept for what was lost. Visiting her grave, far away, the stone cold. Why? I asked the wind, but peace answered. Ellie's struggles, her husband's job lost, my savings helping, small but given freely. Your family, I said, her son's birth, his eyes like Henry's. Full circle, I murmured. Town festivals, our booth with dresses, pride in our work, nights stargazing, her head on my shoulder. You're my mama now, she'd say. My birthday surprises, cakes baked clumsy, but loving. The storm that flooded the creek, our home spared, neighbors helped. Community men's too, I learned. Grandkids' school plays, their lines forgotten, my applause loudest, rose petals from the magnolias scattered on paths. Beauty in simple. Life's tapestry, threads of pain and joy interwoven. Oh dear, the words flow like the creek, each word a piece of my heart. Love mends always.